Hello, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. Just getting the cards situated here. And we're going to be using well, let me grab them for you. We have, of course, the Energy Oracle cards and the Wild Unknown Tarot, okay? As well as using some psychic ability, trying to get some different kind of information going on. But that's primarily what we're going to be doing. So, starting out, I hope you guys had an awesome weekend, and we're just going to start doing our reading. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle these cards up. I'm going to make sure I do it right, and let's see what we get. So this is going to be an energy reading for October 20th. Okay, we're going to go over some key aspects for October 20th of 2020, and then from there, we can do some questions. So this takes a second, but after that, then we can focus on doing some questions and go from there. All right, so let's see what we can get here for October 20th energy reading. Do this. Now let's start shuffling these here. October 20th energy reading. Let's focus on, spiritual growth right now. And then we'll focus on love. And then we'll focus on finances. And then we can answer some questions. Okay, so spiritual evolution, spirit, what do we need to know for October? Moving into this, trying to focus here. Okay, what do we need to know for this? And we get okay, so we get 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel, and then we get 1st chakra, Archangel Michael in reverse. So this to me is definitely today we're working on establishing ourselves. We're working on speaking our mind and making it known that whatever we have built up in our lives, however we are wanting to be perceived, we need to stand our ground. When I see this in reverse, to me it means foundationally we're feeling a little shaken. We're feeling like we're being challenged. So this is a really, really good time for us to focus on standing our ground and focusing on that self-love feeling that we talk about on this channel all the time, because there can't be you without self-love, right? There can't be a true expression of yourself if there's no self-love there. So that's what I'm seeing here. I'll draw some tarot cards here, though, to get a little bit of a better insight. I'm going to shuffle these once or twice more. Get them nice and good for you guys. And then we can do that. Oh, here we go. And let's see. So we get the Tower, the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Son of Swords in reverse. So like I said, the foundation being challenged, that's what this is. The Tower, though, is an interesting card because what it is doing is it is destroying what is no longer needed in our lives. So, but the reason why you see it coming with the flash and you see there's fire and you see there's lightning, the tree is bare. There's no life in it. And the Tower card, in the Tower, there's usually no life in it, but you'll see people sometimes climbing up on it, and then the Tower gets destroyed. This is destroying what has not worked, at least in my opinion, what hasn't worked for a while. And it's like an old idea, it's an old way of thinking, it's an old way of being. And when the Tower gets destroyed, it's destroyed basically without any way to rebuild it back up to what it once was. It's like a new way of seeing things. And sometimes that can seem forceful because it seems jarring, but generally it's getting rid of the negative. It's getting rid of what no longer serves us in the moment. So these two cards, okay, foundational and this breaking the foundation, these two cards actually go hand in hand. So spiritually, there's been a shakeup. That's, to me, this is a good thing because it shows that we can take our true sense of power, our true sense of self, and we can manifest that into something far greater than it was before, but we got to build it up first, right? Then I get the 8 of Coins in reverse, and I get the Son of Swords in reverse. So this could be feeling like we're starting over in a field. This could actually be quitting our jobs or maybe even being fired, and then feeling like we're starting over again. But when I see the Son of Swords in reverse, this could be maybe feeling a little obstinate to starting over, feeling like I know better than my boss, or I know better than this. And that can be a sense of like focusing on humbling ourselves, focusing on looking at what we've done and look at it in a different way. I can cross this Son of Swords card though with an energy card and see what we get. But to me, it feels like there's a little bit of arrogance going on here, or a little bit of like, why did this have to happen to me? Kind of energy, right? So let's look at what else we get. I get the Angel of Love on top of the Son of Swords in reverse. So to me, when I see this, this is something where we're focusing again on letting people know our boundaries. And hey, LR, how you doing? And focusing on that. So this is a really good card to have. The Angel of Love is there, so this means it's a gentle process. Doing very good. I'm doing very good. So this is a gentle process. It's not something that is supposed to hurt, but if it does, I mean, take it in stride, right? Take it as you can, and don't try to force yourself to feel a certain way or be a certain way. This is all about that loving energy, that self-love energy that we've talked about many times, because that's what, to me, that's what tarot, psychic, mediumship, it's all about. It's self-love and learning how to express it in the best way possible. Okay, let's move on to the love reading part and go into there. But yeah, let me do that. Take these here and we'll shuffle. Got my mediumship class coming up, you guys, and I will record it so that you guys can watch it after. I should be able to record it without any problems. It won't be live streamed like these are, but I'll put it on my channel after it's done. Don't expect any fancy edits or anything like that. I'm probably just going to upload it as is, and I hope you guys enjoy it if you guys are into developing mediumship. First, thank you, LR. I appreciate that. So, yeah. Okay, let me shuffle these energy cards once more, and then the tarot cards. And you go from there. We'll be focusing more on the love aspect. And we'll do people that are single and people that are in a relationship, because there's lessons for both. So let's see. And guys, take what resonates and get rid of what doesn't, and don't try to force anything to fit. If it feels like it's not fitting, it's not fitting. You know, don't try to force anything. It's the same with psychic ability, developing these abilities. Do not force. Like I have said many times, if you force a fart, bad things happen. Okay? So let's focus on this here. There we go. Now, I'm glad you like that, LR. Let's look at this as a love reading here. This is going to be for singles first, and then we'll do couples. So the singles out there for the love reading, we are looking at... Okay, I feel like this is interesting. So I see the 9 of Pentacles first off. Okay. Then I get the Father of Cups. Then I get the Father of Swords in reverse. So to me, this could be, if you're single, there could be someone in your life that has that's a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio energy, and this person could be someone who's very open, kind, and giving. I feel like this person is someone who has a very good heart, a very good emotional sense about them, very empathetic. Now, when I see the Father of Swords in reverse, this person is very closed off, very cold, and very logical kind of a person, and I feel like they could be very mean. When I see the Father of Swords in reverse, that's not a card that's very good, and that could be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. It's someone who is constantly, I feel like, judging, sizing you up, someone who's very insecure, but they won't show it. Instead of showing insecurity, they show aggression, because that's how these people tend to communicate. So again, there's 2 signs here, and I'll draw some energy cards here, but there's 2 signs, one focusing on this one here. I feel like we're in a place, maybe financially we're doing okay, and I'm feeling like things are going all right, and we're looking for a possible person to share our lives with. Again, the Father of Cups energy, maybe they're not exciting, but I feel like they're stable, I feel like they're calm, and I feel like they care. And this energy, we might want to feel like we want to go after that, because this person treats us the way maybe we feel we should be treated. Maybe we feel like we shouldn't be treated well, right? And that could be some childhood injuries that happen, psychological injuries. So that's what I'm feeling for the singles out there. Do we go with the person who's exciting and flashy and who puts us in our place, so to speak? Or and that's not helpful. But or do we go with someone who's emotionally stable, who's there for us, and who shows us kindness and caring? Those are the two things that we're looking at here, and I would say go for kindness and caring. I know sometimes we get addicted to the drama, right? But honestly, that won't help us grow spiritually anymore. Eventually, we discard that. We get rid of that, and then we can start focusing on self development, which is, in my opinion, what this life is all about. So, let me shuffle some of these cards here, get a little bit more of an energetic reading, and go from there. Hey, Christy. How you doing? I haven't seen you on the channel before. Okay, one more shuffle. Okay. These two cards. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And so I'm getting strategy and I'm getting door to value right here for this. So if you are single in particular, this is working on having a, well, like I was saying, the strategy part. I don't feel like it's much of a strategy though. I feel like we can make it into a strategy if we want, but I feel like there's two options. One feels boring. That might actually be the best one. Sometimes in a relationship, the boring and safe path is honestly the best thing. But again, we go for something that's more exciting, more drama filled, more whatever, because maybe we feel like we deserve that, right? So, in my opinion, that's what I'm feeling here. And the door to value is showing that the door is open, right? The door to value is open. All you have to do is cross through. But in order to cross through this door, because it's only open a little bit, let's leave our bags and our drama at the door before we cross this threshold. Does that make sense, you guys? In order to enter this new relationship, we kind of need to get rid of the baggage that was carried into our lives. That's definitely what I'm seeing here. So to me, that is for the singles. We'll focus on those that are in a relationship now, and we'll focus on the energies you guys may be encountering. And let me shuffle these energy cards here. And we'll go into that. Alrighty. I have to look close to see what's being said here. Sometimes it's hard for me to see. Okay. Let's do this. And here we go. Shuffle these cards up. Ooh, that was a nice one. Nice one. I don't know if you guys can hear it the same way I can. You're... Oh, okay. Pisces and your partner's a cheetah, so I get it. So he's your ex-partner now. Okay. Let's see what we have here for those that are in a relationship. And then after this part here, I'm going to do financial. And then after that part, then we can focus on taking questions. So if you guys are here wanting to ask a question, please wait until that point, and then I will take questions. Okay? So let's see what we get here for those that are in a relationship, looking at what's coming up in the relationship. Okay? Interesting. And okay, and let's draw our energy cards here. And let's draw this. Okay, so this is an interesting one. First card I'm getting is Judgment. This card right here is all about focusing on like hearing the call to action, the call to help others, the call to establish our own sense of like what's going on in our lives, right? Like, how would I put this? It's like a divine calling, right? Judgment is taking action. It's going forth. Maybe we're being called to teach or to help people or to do something in our lives that's a little bit different. and we feel scared, but we're gonna take the call anyway. We're gonna take the action. Yes, you can catch me live next time, Christy. But what was I gonna say? So the Judgment right here, and then we have Daughter of Wands, and also Christy, if you're still here, you can go to my website as well, and we can do a reading that way if that's something that helps. So then I get the Daughter of Wands in reverse, and then I get the Ten of Wands in reverse. So the Ten of Wands is in reverse, and the Daughter of Wands in reverse. I feel like we're looking at dealing with energy that could be maybe manipulative in a way, something trying to take away our sense of freedom, right? But to me, this is actually a really important thing for us to focus on, where I feel like we're in charge. When I see the Ten of Wands in this direction, I feel like it's us that's in charge. This person makes it seem like they're running the show. They're not, and you're starting to be able to see through that, right? And I could say this is a partner, but I'm also thinking that there could just be a third party involved that's kind of stirring stuff up. That's more of what I'm seeing here. Because then I get the World in reverse, and then I get Happy Family right here. So you're very close to coming to a point where things are starting to normalize and things are starting to stabilize. When that happens, things will get better and better and better. So until that happens, I need you guys to stay strong. I need you guys to know what's going on in your lives. Hello, yes. Moglobby. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm awful at names. I have no idea. But welcome to the group. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing here for sure. It's definitely a sense of feeling like things are being manipulated, feeling like the strings are being pulled, but also realizing we're the ones in charge. So we're no longer the puppet that's on the strings that has to dance, right? We can take some scissors, we can cut those strings, and then we are free to our own agency, and we can do whatever we want to do in that way. Again, I don't feel like this is necessarily a partner. Even though this is a relationship reading for people that are already in a relationship, I don't feel like this is the partner's actions. I feel like this is a third party coming in and trying to oppose its will, yeah, on that person. So let's move into the financial part, and then we can start taking questions from there. So let's do this here. You're very welcome, Christy. And let's go here. Let's do another one here. This is interesting. So for the financial segment, Spirit is here. That's fascinating. Don't know why. Spirit likes to just make itself known sometimes, so maybe there will be an additional message. I'm not sure. It's kind of a weak link to Spirit. It's nothing super strong, but just thought I would make note of it. Oh, there we go. And let's do this. Shuffle these a couple more times. All right, so what do people need to know for their financial future for October 20th, 2020? Okay. All right, we got our first energy cards out, and I'll look at those here in just a second. Or I'll tell you what those are in just a second. Okay, so similarly to what I'm seeing here, when I look at all these cards together, and again, I'll show them all, but what I see here, first off, is choices, okay? The Seven of Cups starting off, this is choices. And this could be emotional choices. This could be some big decisions coming up, possibly into the financial future. So I feel like this, we could be looking at investing into something huge. We could be looking at putting a lot of money into something where we have no idea if it's going to work. This could be starting a new business. This could be focusing on building, I was hearing building up friendships or building up something. So this could be something that's more community based, is what I could feel. This is also something where I feel like we don't need to necessarily rush. If people are making you feel like it's rush, 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 take a breath and realize that we actually do have time here. That's what I'm feeling. I see the Ace of Swords in reverse. This card to me is feeling like we can't think, right? And it sounds weird when I say feeling like we can't think. It's feeling maybe mentally foggy about this situation. We're wanting to start something new. We feel like we have these ideas, but we can't necessarily articulate them in the right way. So to me, what this is, because I go through it all the time, it's a case of the foggies, right? Like the foggy, the hazy kind of weird feeling you get. That's why I write things down, okay? And I set reminders to remind myself to set reminders because that helps me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is right here, we need to focus more on maybe writing things down when they come to us, maybe working on our organizational ability that way so that we can articulate what's going on with ourselves. Because I see the Ace of Swords in reverse, and mentally it feels like there's chatter. It feels like there's things there that weren't there before, thoughts, emotions. It just feels like I'm all over the place. But then I get this card, okay? This is the 10 of Wands. So this is getting rid of a great burden. So as soon as we start to articulate ourselves, as soon as we start to get to that place, we're going to find it a lot easier, a lot easier for us to focus more on building up our sense of self and our sense of security. Okay, so this is something, organized thought, okay? Organize your thoughts. Make sure you have an outlet for it. For me, there tends to be a sense of, if I'm having a lot of thoughts, I'm having some ideas, I get anxiety if I don't write them down. And that's because the energy is expressing itself, and I'm honoring that energy by writing it down. And as soon as you write it down, it generally dissipates and the fogginess starts to lift, at least for me personally. And writing is also very, very beneficial. If we're feeling foggy, if we're feeling a certain emotional kind of difference in ourselves, right? Like we feel a little different today. That's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Okay, so then we have these cards. Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse, okay? And then we get the garden and the gate, okay? So the garden and the gate and the seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse. When I look at these two, I feel like we're very close to being in a position of having a lot of possibilities, but I feel like we're possibly blocking ourselves off. Maybe we're not listening to our intuition, or maybe we feel like we're just doubting ourselves. To me, this feels like we're very close to having some breakthroughs, some good opportunities, but I feel like something is maybe blocking us off. It could be an old way of thinking. It could just be that this way of feeling about this is very rigid. Maybe you're wanting to invest in something so specific that it becomes damn near impossible for you guys to be able to do anything because it's so specific. Whereas I feel like if we're being more free and we're letting ourselves kind of look at the idea in a bunch of different ways, I feel like that's the best way to go about it. Okay, so that's for the financial part. And that was more about investing, but I could also see this as being, if I look at it as a job, right? I feel like there's plenty of choices for a job. I feel like, again, we need to quit being hard on ourselves, and we need to quit um, thinking so logically. When we're in that box, when we're thinking so logically, we become very rigid. When we become very rigid, anything at all, will make us fall apart. If we're so rigid and we fall to the floor, we're going to break into pieces. When we're more flexible, if we fall, it hurts, but we sort of wiggle around, we stand back up, and we're like, man, that wasn't fun, but now I know what to do different. So to me, this is keep an open mind. This is keep an open sense of discovery and not close ourselves off or put ourselves in a box anymore. Some people like to do that, and some people will tell you, man, the box isn't so bad, but trust me, it is. We're here to think outside the box. We're here to think in a completely new and different way. And if other people are uncomfortable with that, that sucks. But I mean, it's what we're doing. So if other people are uncomfortable with it, let them be uncomfortable with it. You focus on being you. Hey, Rush, how you doing? So that's what I have to say about that. So now I'm going to shuffle these cards here, and you can probably take a pen and a piece of paper so we can start doing some questions. Sorry to hear that, Rush. Yeah, I was thinking it was your first time on the channel. Welcome to the channel. So I will what does BB feel towards you? I can draw one or two cards on that, But if you're wanting a more in-depth reading, I usually accept payment. There you can do super chats that way. But I can draw one card and go into it a little bit. Psychics gotta eat, guys. The donations help the channel a ton too, so if I seem pushy with it, that's why. I'm doing something out here, and I think it's okay to get paid for doing your stuff, right? But I can draw one card for you. Draw the best one. I'll see what I can do. You have a great night, LR. Yep, this horse has got to eat. Okay. So I'll draw one energy card and one tarot card. We'll go from there. And, well, let me shuffle the tarot deck real quick. All right, one more shuffle in the tarot. Okay, so with this person, I'm getting a sense of, I feel like it's more closed off energy, right? I see this is the fourth angel, or the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael in reverse. So I feel like this person has a hard time expressing themselves in a possible love situation or something like that. I get a sense of being closed off, right? That's the energy I'm picking up on. Okay, with that card. And then the other card that I get is, this is the Five of Wands in reverse. So this person could have an energy that, this card when it's upright is kind of a more playful, teasing kind of energy. I feel like if this card is in reverse, this person can be kind of not the nicest at certain parts. I feel like this person can be kind of mean in certain situations. So these two cards right here, to me, I feel like the person's pretty closed off. How do they feel towards you? Yeah. So you're saying they're bitter. Because right now, the fourth chakra in reverse, that's the heart chakra, right? And that's the chakra that kind of focuses on letting love in. Your energy shifted. Okay. Well, that's, yeah. I figured you meant energy, as ebergy isn't really a word. But yeah, I can see that. So you're very welcome. If you want to do more, you can donate on the super chat, or you can visit my website and we can go from there. But that's just what I'm feeling for that. So are there any other questions, you guys? And if not, I can just keep doing our readings here. You know how this goes. What do we need to know for October 20th? What do we need to know? And okay, October 20th, what do we need to know? This is good. This is different. And that is good. This is going to be very weird. I will tell you what I've gotten here in just a second, but so far, some weird cards together. Let's shuffle these ones. All right, what do we get? Wow. Man, that's different. Okay, you guys. I drew 3 major arcana for basically what tomorrow's going to be like. I say the 20th because this video will come out on the 20th for those people that are watching it. I don't know why it takes YouTube almost 24 hours to post the video after it's live. I guess they have to process it. But so tarot-wise, we get the Hermit in reverse, we get the Magician in reverse, and we get Death in reverse. Okay. So Death in reverse sounds good. Death in reverse sounds like life, right? Like some interesting weird way to live. But this right here, the Hermit in reverse, is refusing to go within. I feel like refusing to look. Hey, hey Denise. Yeah, I had a great weekend. Hope you did too. And then we have the Magician in reverse and Death. So all of these, this card here and this card, are very, very similar. Death is about allowing a process to die and to start over and become fresh again. And the Magician is the first major arcana, right? Alternatively, I could read this as tomorrow you... Okay, that was weird. Like I was saying, Christy, I can do a little reading for you, okay, like a little mini reading. After this one, we can focus on that, and if you want to donate, then we can look a little deeper. Is that okay? So these cards here, we have the Hermit, like I was saying, Death, and the Magician. And this is definitely starting over, but in a way where I'm feeling like there's a little bit of almost contention, almost like starting over but not wanting to start over energy. And then the other cards I got on top, the energy cards, are all interesting too. So this is going to be, there's going to be a situation that happens in your life that's going to feel like it's very, kind of, how would I put that? Flower Bloom, we can do a question, but generally we do a super chat donation, and then I can look at the question. Those love questions that are like that, you can get the answer from 1 or 2 cards. So if you want to donate a little bit, we can look into that. But for now, I'm looking at this. So I'll show you the energy cards here, though. So we have the Sun, Deceit, and Community. Okay. These 3 cards coming up, this is very, very interesting. I've never seen these cards together. So the way I would read this is tomorrow, I feel like is going to start off pretty strong, pretty good energy. And then we have the Deceit card, and then we have the Community card. So we're going to start off, things are really good. And then we're going to go into Deceit here. This one here is being, maybe something's going to happen that's going to test our patience. That's how I would view that, something coming in to test our patience, to test our resolve. And then I feel like things will end in Community, which is really good because there's going to be something that's going to be resolved. So maybe we misheard something, maybe we misunderstood something, it was a good day, and then we found out in the end things were all right. Sort of like an episode of Three's Company, if you guys remember that show. It always turned out to be the worst thing, and then at the end it was like, oh, it was just a misunderstanding. Something like that. The Hermit in reverse, Death in reverse, and the Magician in reverse, though, really, really tomorrow, there could be a person or an individual. This could be a Virgo, this could be a Scorpio individual, and they could try to steer us in the wrong direction. But that doesn't mean that we have to go that way, right? That's something where we can focus more on allowing ourselves to just see the situation for what it is, okay? Because to me, I look at this situation and we're going to be focusing on a lot of new energy coming in. And these 2 cards here, when I see the Sun card especially, this is something where we're focusing definitely on transformation, new energy, new beginnings, okay? But when it's in reverse, it just means be careful. Maybe don't start a new project tomorrow if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like the energy's down. I feel like a part of you is going to be feeling very positive. It could be mentally, it could be physically, but it feels like tomorrow there's going to be some good outlook, right? Just be aware and be on the lookout because there could be some sort of say deceptive energy coming in, right? But we have a choice whether we listen to that or not. Okay, so Christy, you were wondering about you and your girls. So I'll draw, let's do one energy card, okay, the next 6 months, and one tarot card, like I did for the other lady. We'll go from there. Well, thank you, Christy. Seeing as to me it's not a love question, right? It's a, you're wondering about you and your family. The love questions can be answered pretty quickly, and you know, I do love readings all the time, and it's something where I feel like the answer is pretty obvious and it's right there. But when it comes to wondering about the well-being of you and your family, that's obviously different from a love reading. So, of course, I'm going to give a little more attention to that. Okay. Let me shuffle these cards a little bit. Okay, one more shuffle here. So, what will happen with you and your girls? Oh, I wish that. There we go. Store for me and my little girls for the next 6 months, please. Okay. What's in store for you and your little girls for the next 6 months? We have. Hey, Petra. Okay, so either you. Okay, I get the Daughter of Wands. So I don't know if you or one of your daughters is a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, but I'm getting that kind of energy. An inexperienced fire sign, so obviously they're younger girls. And then 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron here. So this to me looks like there will be more of a spiritual side, maybe an awakening. Maybe your daughters are showing signs of spirituality or spiritual abilities. That's definitely what I see from these two cards. Because the Daughter of Wands and then 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron, that's the third eye. The 6th chakra is the third eye. So I see that as being a good thing. Spiritual evolution, there could be moments of like testing where we're tested as people. Spiritual evolution kind of requires that. But I see it as being a good thing, and I see it as moving forward and having a lot of determination and resolve. But again, this could be the result of spiritual gifts possibly manifesting. That's what I'm seeing here. So hopefully that helps answer your question. You can visit my website to go deeper if you want, or you can donate on here. But I know you said you lost your visa, so you can just stay in here and just listen to the rest of the chat if you want. And I hope that helped answer your question, Christy. Just going to shuffle these again here. Okay, there we go. Let's look at some other facets here. Maybe I can bring through I don't think so this time, Christy. I hope you understand that. I know the love questions are important to you guys. I do. But if that is something, you can either donate on here or you can do an $8 question on my website and we can go into it that way. Because I do an $8 one question tarot card reading, so I do hope you understand. I I'm not saying you've ever done this, Christy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the reason why I do this is because for a long time I've done free readings and only free readings, and I figure that's a disservice to myself. So I'm starting to ask for money for what I'm doing, and I'm sure you respect that, and I appreciate that. So that's just something I've been doing lately. I'm not trying to be stern. I'm not trying to be mean, but you would pay an electrician, you would pay a car mechanic. So with these readings, Okay. I'm just shuffling these cards here, and then I'm going to see if I can get a message from Spirit to see what's going on that way. I'm not the best at channeling, but I feel like I'm getting a little better. So let's see if we can do that way. Oh. Thank you so much, Petra. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Very sweet of you. Do you have a question, Petra? Yeah, and their abilities will just grow as time goes on too. As long as they're not hindered in any way. Kids are much more spiritually gifted than we give them credit for. So. Oh, well, thank you so much, Petra. You're very, very sweet. I appreciate that. That's very kind. And again, it does help support. When you're doing this full time, you're trying to, a lot of it's trying to get your name out there and just trying to establish boundaries. And in the spiritual community, I've noticed a lot of people have a very hard time establishing boundaries. So I'm trying to do it in the most gentle way possible for myself, and hopefully others can see that too. Yes, Petra, I agree with that. And you never did. You never were abusing my generosity, and I appreciate that. You've been on here, you've been very kind and very sweet, so I just really appreciate that. Okay. Oh, gotta crack the neck there. I can see if I can get any messages coming in here and focus on... Let's focus on a theme for this week. What is this week going to bring? I'll try and focus on that from Spirit, and then I'll try and relay the information to you guys moving forward. This week feels more primed for action, if I'm saying anything about it from anything. The other weeks felt more passive. This week feels more action-based, more oriented, more divine masculine, right? The divine feminine is about intuition and creativity and allowing yourself to feel the thoughts and to, sort of move with them. And the divine masculine is kind of about taking action and moving forward in that way. So both of those obviously have a place, but this week feels more divine masculine, in my opinion. It feels more like we're gearing up towards something. I feel like we're either tomorrow I'm on, Christy. I do this Monday through Thursday, and then I take a break for 3 days. But Monday through Thursday. Same time as I was this last time. Okay, so let's focus on a message. One of the first things I'm seeing here is, I feel like a beetle would be the first thing I'm seeing. So the beetle to me it's an insect, obviously, or a bug. But to me, it has armor. It has its armor on. It's ready to do what needs to be done. And beetles do different things, but they're generally more, I would say that to me, they have more of a masculine presence. And they're ready to take on whatever they need to take on. They're not fearful. They kind of do what they need to do, right? Just don't flip them over and have them bake in the sun, which can also be a sign of, again, that rigidity that we were talking about before. allow yourself to move forward and go in a direction, but don't squash others to do so. Focus on building up yourself enough that you don't need to do that for other people. You have your own sense of self-validation. You have your own sense of I've got this kind of an energy. So that's what I'm feeling moving forward. Less inspirational, just more of what I'm feeling. I'll try and get a message from Spirit here and see though. So sit tight, guys, and I'll see what I can come up with. Very first thing I'm feeling is feeling intertwined is the very first. And then I'm feeling like I'm seeing a hand this way going in like this. And I feel like there's pressure there. Whereas I'm feeling like now we're in a position where we're starting to accept ourselves more. There's also a position of feeling a sense of struggle as we move forward. And I feel like this is old ways of thinking. I feel like, yes, there can be a struggle there, right? But I don't feel like it's necessarily something we have to go through the way we're doing it. Maybe we're going through a sense of struggle where we could be victimizing ourselves, and we could be focusing on not allowing ourselves to feel the power that we already have. Okay, thank you so much, Christy. I'm sure tomorrow, like I said, we can catch up. We can do what you would want to do and focus on that reading. But yes, this is about us establishing our sense of individuality. And the intertwining that I saw was maybe two energies working together towards a common goal, but I saw resisting the other energy. Not because the other energy is necessarily bad or evil, but just because maybe something in us is trying to break free of something, and we could be taking it out on that person possibly. But I did feel like there was resistance. When I see the other hand doing this and cupping the fist, that to me says there's energy coming from you possibly, and it's hitting this, but it's also being caught, and it's being gently caught. I don't feel like it's like anger. I feel like it's catching the aggression and taking it and saying it's okay, and allowing yourself to calm down and allowing yourself to focus that energy in a new positive venture, right? That's what I'm feeling. Let me see what else I can get here. Okay, so I see this moving forward in a new way. And this is interesting because it's lifting. I saw it was like a dumbbell or like a barbell, like you lift up and put over your head. I saw it, but it had hearts on either end of it. And to me, that's feeling the weight of love, but in a way where we're focusing on the magnitude of it, but not the gratitude of it. So maybe we feel smothered, or we feel a sense of not deserving it. But I'm feeling like there's a lesson there where love can actually be something moving forward that we can take and we can move into our lives, and realize that it's okay for us to accept it as it is and not try to turn it into something else, or not try to think about it in a way where it's like, if I'm feeling bad about myself, I can't accept this love. This love isn't real because I feel bad about myself. Love's real. The love's real. But if you're feeling bad about yourself, you could take it as something that's condescending, or you could take it as something that's like, you love me, why? And then look at that person and think, God, their judgment must be horrible because there's things we're working on in ourselves, right? That's what I'm feeling there. So it's definitely a lot of taking action, but taking more divine action, taking more of a stance of like, things have happened in the past, but I'm not going to let that define who I am now. So, and again, we're learning lessons. We're here to learn lessons. Everything's a gentle process. This, in my opinion, this is spiritual kindergarten. This is not even coming close to what the universe has to offer. We're learning very, very, very fundamental lessons. And sometimes we get caught up in the color of other people, in the gender of other people, and we don't see that love is the answer to all of this. We don't see it. We just get caught up in this way of thinking. And I feel like we're starting to hopefully break down those boundaries and those barriers and starting to become something where we just see a person. We just see another soul individual who's in need of love and guidance, because that's all there is moving forward. Otherwise, humanity will self-destruct. We need to focus on a loving path. We need to focus on bringing forth that energy, bringing forth that creation energy into the now moment. And the way we do that is to heal our own pasts, our own traumas, and focus on the love and light that we see in other people. Right? If we have if we feel hate from another person, it's because there's something in us that's also feeling hate towards ourselves too. And I'm not saying the person's not being mean, but I'm saying there's a general sense of someone else coming along who's never been you ever. They've never been you. The only person they've ever been is themselves. But they tell you what to do. They tell you how to live, like they've been you your whole life. And I feel like we're starting to step out of that mentality that doesn't make sense anymore. And that's a huge maturity step. That's a huge step in growing as people. Let's see. Ronald Kulo. I do super chat readings if you would like something. That's usually how I work. You can shuffle the cards here. Okay, look for your card and then come back to me and we can address whatever is going on in the future. There's no rush. I'm still going to be here for a little while. Yes, I should establish prices for when I do readings, but it's kind of like if you just donate, I'll do a little bit more of a reading for you, obviously. The donations are what matter. The fact you guys appreciate it helps a ton. And it doesn't necessarily matter exactly how much, but just anything moving forward helps. But that's what I'm feeling for that energy. Still moving forward. We're not stopping now. A couple weeks ago, it was very hazy. It felt like I was in a misty cave. There was no light, kind of only darkness, and I didn't have a candle that I could light. I just felt like I was stumbling around in a misty cave the same way a blind man would, right? Like you can't see what's in there. And now I feel like there's a sense of, okay, I can see, I can feel, I can start to understand what's going on, and now we're in a well-lit room. But the lessons are different depending on where we're at. If we're in a dark cave, our lesson in the dark cave is survival. Our lesson in the dark cave is to focus more on allowing ourselves to live to the next day, maybe get water, maybe get food. As soon as we step into an environment that's well lit, then we start looking around and we start seeing threats, possibly. We start seeing things that could be threats in the environment, or we start focusing on trying to find people we know. We start focusing on that kind of energy. So to me, we're starting to focus on the light energy. And if we're seeing threats where there aren't threats, then we can work on amending that. And if we're seeing, basically, we're focusing more on how to be in the open world, right? The cave was more of an allegory for the private world and not being able to feel our own self, not being able to feel our own subconscious. The well-lit room is the conscious mind, and we're starting to get there. And from the conscious mind, we make action, okay? Hopefully that makes sense, you guys. But let me take these cards here and let me shuffle. Now, that being said, if there's questions that correlate to the group as a whole, I'm not going to charge for those. Obviously, you guys are asking a question for the group or for humanity or things like that. Yes, more awareness, Petra. So when it becomes more of someone wanting a reading specifically for them, then yeah, I'm going to ask for a donation. I'm going to ask for money that way. But if it's more geared towards a group, then I'm not going to do that. Does that make sense, you guys? I don't want to limit the flow of questions. I want that to be clear. And if we're focusing on that, yes, if it's a collective reading, I'm not gonna charge that. Or if there's something where we're focused more on a spiritual development question, I can go a little bit more into that too. Again, though, at some point, if it deviates so much from the group, at that point, then I will ask for money, if that makes sense. It's like, wish I could think of an analogy, but to me that makes sense. That seems fair, so I'll stick with it for now. But again, my views will change as time goes on, and I'm not going to try and be too rigid myself. Okay, let's see what we can do. So this is something I'm getting here. We have the 10 of Pentacles, the 8 of Swords, the Daughter of Pentacles in reverse. So this to me is something where we could be looking at focusing on home life in some way, possibly establishing a safe place for us to be, a safe home life, security. I feel like that could be a primary goal that we're reaching towards now. This is something that is going to happen, but the reason it happens, yes, the work and the effort that goes into it and the action is amazing, but sometimes just the appreciation, because that's what this card is, appreciation. Just the appreciation is all that you need moving forward. We don't need to have anything else sometimes other than gratitude for what's already around us, because then it allows us to feel even more and to focus on having even more, right? So I get the happy family in reverse here. And this card is interesting because we're focused on, yes, so okay, this card here, and then this card. Happy family in reverse, and then we get the Father of Wands, okay? This card here is all about focusing on establishing that firm foothold. But when I see the happy family in reverse, I get a feeling of like, I'm not going to be happy until everything's perfect. And that the thing is, we can be happy now and then work on perfecting things as time goes on. If I had that mentality with my abilities moving forward, with my psychic abilities, I would never do anything. And I kept doing that for years. I kept saying, well, I'm not going to go out there and put my gift out there because I'm not a master of it. And it turns out that being happy in the moment, focusing on what we already have and working to expand that is the best way to get more of what we need to continue evolving spiritually. So that's what I'm seeing here. Being happy in the moment, developing a happier home life now, and then we can work on whatever it is we need to work on because we're fully present in the moment of the now, right? So that's what I'm seeing here. Take this here. Shuffle these back up. Hopefully that applies to some of you guys. I feel like that message was needed for me as well. You know, you can never have too much appreciation or gratitude. I know it's a spiritual cliche to say that, but really, that's very true. Okay, let's focus here. Thank you, Petra. I appreciate that. Let me light another incense, you guys. So Petra, I was telling the other guys that I'm doing my mediumship class. And I'm going to be posting that. So hopefully that's something you will appreciate as well. So probably be looking for it on Monday. Maybe next. I'm doing it this Saturday. Hi, Inked Empress. How are you doing? Don't think I've seen you on the channel before. And I'm doing good. How? Well, I already asked how you were. Focusing on lighting this incense right now. There we go. Nope. I feel like sometimes you guys, most of it's just watching me struggle to light incense. I understand, Petra. Losing. Oh. Are you new to the channel, Inked Empress? Like I said, I don't think I've seen you. I always get the ones that don't like. Yeah, I'm doing my mediumship class this Saturday, and I'm going to be recording it. I've got some good info moving into that. So hopefully you guys will appreciate that, because I will post it on the channel as well. I know mediumship is niche, right? A lot of people don't go in for the mediumship classes. I've seen it. People think it's interesting, but a lot of people don't want to develop it. So I'm just going to post that for people that are interested in developing, and then we can go from there. But kind of a way to say thank you for following me on the channel. Yes, I did. Inked Empress. I've had quite a few names. Every now and again, I go through an identity crisis on the channel, and I just change everything. It sounds funny, but really, it's true. I focus on what I feel like the channel wants to be at the time. But yeah, I do change the name of the channel probably once every 2 or 3 years. So if you're into that, then there you go. But yeah, so I'll shuffle these cards here. We'll see what we can get. Yes, Inner Peace. That's something I'm focusing on. I'm going to release the class. Yes, hello. Like I said, Saturday is when I'm doing the class. I'm thinking it'll be about an hour, and it's just going to be me talking about connecting with spirit, focusing on getting answers, the ethics of it. You know, the ethics is a huge part of mediumship, and I think that needs to be talked about more. Thank you, Petra. Yes, guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button. And thank you, Denise. I'm excited too. Nervous as all hell, but excited. I've never taught a class before, and I'm not exactly what you would call a people person. So this will be interesting. I'm thinking, if anything, I'll learn something. I might not be, you know. And so, yeah, we can definitely go from there. So let me shuffle these cards here. Let me see what I can get moving forward. Then let me do this. Awesome. Thank you, Petra. Yeah, mediumship, it can come naturally to some people, and then other people develop it over time. And then other people have events that happen that sort of, No, this Saturday will be when I do the mediumship class, but it won't be live. I mean, I guess it could be, but there'd be a lot of other people there, and I just would feel. I mean, it could be live, but I wouldn't be able to answer any of your questions. Yeah, some people have situations that trigger the mediumship to happen, near-death experiences, or um, I mean, it can really be anything. For me, I didn't necessarily have anything that triggered it. Very mundane. My life has been, apart from a few moments of weirdness, everyone has. Um, yes, they've been a catalyst. Apart from those few moments of, like I said, weirdness, and I can go into more detail, of course, but there hasn't been a lot in my life. My life's been very mundane. Denise, thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, very, very mundane experiences is what I've had. And so I didn't have when I was 3 years old, I could see my great aunt at the edge of my bed and I knew her name and all that. I didn't have that. And I don't know a lot of people that do. Seems like all the mediums that write bestsellers are the ones that have those experiences. For me, very mundane. One day I woke up, was able to do it. That's it. I mean, it's not. I don't necessarily know what triggered it, but I do know there were events that after led to it happening and led to me experiencing it more. But it was kind of just time for me to wake up, I guess. Then I did ayahuasca and some other stuff and expanded my consciousness in those ways. Thank you so much. Yes, I did a reading for you, I remember, and I try to be as detailed as I can. I don't try to hold back. And I also will tell you guys, thank you. Thank you again, guys. You're awesome. You're gonna make me blush over here, okay? We don't necessarily want to see that. I'm so pale that if I start blushing, the whole body just turns red. But anyway, yes, you guys will see it. I will post it, like I said, on Saturday. It will be about an hour, 45 minutes. So. Yes, supernatural would be the way to call it. Or, where's that book? This one. Here. Let me go into this. Right here. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, this is the book I was talking about. Butter my butt and call me a biscuit. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the book. This is the book. So you said supernatural, right? This is called Supernormal. Really good book. This talks about extraordinary, yes, feeling drawn with the emotions. This talks about the Siddhis. I don't know if you guys have heard about those, and I haven't really talked about those that much on the channel. Siddhis translated are, it translates to perfection, basically, of a gift. And there's like 20 different Siddhis, and different gurus throughout time have been able to access these Siddhis. And one of them is psychic perfection, is what it's called. It's being able to read something absolutely, like not having any blocks in any way. But anyway, this talks about, Supernormal talks about the Siddhis, and they put people through scientific tests, and it goes into a lot of scientific data on psychic ability. And Dean Radin, I think is how you say his name, he's exploring psi ability, which is like psychic abilities, telekinesis, mediumship, things like that. He's exploring it in a lab-like environment, and what he's doing is really cool, and he's one of the few people that do. Back in the day, Harvard and some of the more noted schools in the world, like in the US, they actually had a parapsychology. They had a paranormal part to the college where there was research and there was study. Now there isn't, but it's starting to make a resurgence, but I just find it fascinating. So this book is a really good one if you guys are looking for something. And you have, I mean, there's other ones too, but to me, that's a good one. Okay. So, yeah, with that being said, you're welcome. I mean, it's a Dean Radin. This person. Let me type it out here if I can. Okay, I don't know how to type it out, so I'll just show you the name again. Yeah, Dean Radin, I'm not sure how you say his name, but he's doing research into the psychic development circle. And then there's other people too. When I went to Ireland, I got to go to, I taught a class in Ireland 8 years ago, and it was astral projection. Me and my guides were helping people, taking them out of body, basically having people experience astral projection while they were more or less semi-conscious, kind of like a hypnosis kind of thing. And when I was there, I got to meet Tom Campbell, and he's got My Big Theory of Everything, and he's really cool too. He talks about, he basically puts the psychic senses in a way that it's more of a kind of a gift that we forgot, but he's also a very logical person too. So Tom Campbell, you can look him up, MBT, or Theory, My Big Theory of Everything, or My Big Toe is what he calls it, Theory of Everything, TOE. Really good book. I've read part of it. I won't say I've read all of it because it is massive. I mean, it's a big book. It's not that one. Oh yeah, it is. Hold on. It's this one. So I met Tom Campbell when I was staying in it was like this mansion in Ireland, right? And we got to teach, we got to just talk about different things, but I met him, really nice guy, very, very down-to-earth person. And yeah, okay, so looks like I made it about 50 pages in, okay? So this is, hey LR, this is My Big Toe, okay? My Big Theory of Everything, Awakenings, Discovery, Inner Workings. So Tom Campbell was with the guy that coined the term astral projection, Robert Monroe. And awesome. And he's good. I like Tom Campbell. He's very by the book, and he doesn't speak in any fanciful terms. He speaks in a way that's like very logical, and he has a presence very logical. Talks about astral projection, talks about psychic ability, and he talks about his own awakening, which in itself was interesting because he's a very plain kind of person. The interesting thing about Tom Campbell, though, is that he was a physicist for NASA, and then he turned into, I guess, what you would call like a metaphysicist, right? So there's some interesting things here. And like I said, very cool person, very lovely person. I really liked him a lot. And maybe in the future, I don't know if I could, but I might be able to. No, I'm not going to say anything that way, but just so Thomas Campbell is the title, or is the author of this one, and it's My Big Toe. And again, it's a big book. It's a thick boy right here, very thick boy. I think we've got. Well, you know when it hits chapter 80 that it's a big book. It has over 800, yeah, it has over 800 pages. So if you're in for a light read, okay, this one right here. Jeez, that's huge. Okay, so there's that. I'll put these off to the side here. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, are there any questions going into this? Is there anything that we're wanting to know about? Yeah, I mean, we can go from there, but I'm going to shuffle these cards here for a minute. Okay, Alara, what's your question? And again, guys, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but psychics need to eat too. If any of you guys can donate anything, Petra was kind enough to donate. It helps out a ton. I really appreciate it. You don't have to. You never have to. But it just helps out the channel. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Or, Lamantic. Dang it. Thank you, Lamantic. I appreciate that. Okay. I do try to keep that private, but occasionally there is a slip up. Do they respect your decision to walk away? So just like with everyone else, LR, unless we do a donation, right? I'll draw a couple cards. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to draw one energy card. I'm going to draw one tarot card, and we'll go into that. Okay. So I'm not going to give it super detailed attention, but I will give you something. Okay. Okay, some cards fell out. All right, so 2 cards fell out. So if 2 cards fall out, then 2 cards fall out. I'm not going to put 1 card back and be like it's a 1 card reading. No. And I'll draw an energy card on top of that. So we get the 5 of Cups. Okay. Interestingly enough, it's a horse hanging its head down. I know you have a thing for horses. This right here is a horse hanging its head down, and I feel like there's disappointment here. I feel like there's a big sense of disappointment emotionally, walking away from something. Then I get the 9 of Wands in reverse. And this, to me, I feel like we're walking away from the moon, which is interesting because then this card is the goddess of the moon. So I'm feeling like whatever's happening, I'm feeling like this is kind of a solo thing, right? Because I feel like the other person's taking a step back, they're walking away, maybe seeing what's going to happen. But I do feel that there's a sense of, kind of having the person walk away in that way, if that makes sense. So probably not what you wanted to hear, but I'm going to tell you what the cards say. So, hello, Tiffany. Walking away, yeah. That's just what I'm seeing right now, and all I'm doing when I'm doing these readings. Who's walking away? Okay. That's some more questions. If you want, we can do a private reading after this one, but that's more of a question. When you said, was I doing this alone? You said something about doing it alone, or you said something about having someone walk away. I feel like whatever it is, I feel like it's going to be you doing something, and maybe the other person will join in eventually, but I'm feeling like there's going to be a sense of kind of being a little more lonely for the time, because I got the 5 of Cups and then the 9 of Wands in reverse. So it could be that. It could be you walking away from it, but I want you to know that if that's a decision you make, that it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to walk away because you can always walk back. Spirituality isn't it's not something that's a straight path. Sometimes we walk away from it for a while. Maybe we'll come back to it, maybe we won't. The best thing though is that you're happy and you're feeling safe and secure in whatever it is you're choosing to do, right? If we don't want to develop spiritually, or if we want to not if we want to stay where we are, right? Yeah, so if you're walking away from it, always know that you can walk right back. Always know that you're not closing a door forever. You're just choosing to do something else for the time being, and there's no harm in that. The ego, the way we've we've been led to feel in society makes it feel like if we walk away from it, that means we're failing. And I'm sorry I started stuttering, but I feel passionate about this. We're not failing. We're just taking a different course for a while. We're not failing. We're not doing anything. We're just saying, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take a break from this for a minute. I did many times, and I might in the future again. I probably will. When you're in the spiritual path, when you're doing that kind of stuff, you know, protect yourself, protect your own sense of self. Don't worry about what other people are thinking, and don't think that you're being a failure, because you're not. Okay? Cannot say that enough. Okay, let me I'm glad I could be of assistance with that. Self-love is the main thing I'm trying to do on this channel more than anything else. That's a good question, Tiffany. Okay, so this is a group question. So like I was saying before, I'm not going to ask for any money from this because someone has a question that can apply to everybody. So Tiffany, my best way to do it is you can have certain stones around you. If you like tiger's eye, black tourmaline can help with negative, protecting from the negative. Or as soon as you get done with a reading, take some time for yourself and kind of ground yourself. And to me, grounding myself is allowing myself to be back in my senses. Like, for instance, these cards right here, when I'm shuffling them and I'm doing a spiritual reading, I kind of don't feel the cards anymore. When we're grounding ourselves, what we're doing is we're letting ourselves be in the physical world. We're feeling, we're smelling, we're putting ourselves in a situation where we're kind of having to be aware. Hi, Kathy B. I do remember a little bit. I'm very forgetful as well. I remember I gave you a reading, but yes. So protecting ourselves comes from doing the work and then grounding is what I would say. Or you can ask your guides to help as well. But that, and yes, showering is good too. Showering helps as well. Salt bath helps. Yes, okay, I remember, Kathy. Yep, I remember that. But that's definitely something that we can focus on moving forward, where the more we get comfortable with letting ourselves be out there, the more we kind of get a rhythm of knowing what we need. For instance, after I get done with this, these kinds of readings, I generally take some alone time. Like, I focus on me for a little bit longer because I need that. I need that so that I can feel calm and safe. Even though you guys aren't doing anything negative, it's like I need that to establish my sense of like, whew, you know, if that makes sense. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so now if it's in the context of that kind of environment, because obviously going to the dentist is going to be very, to put it lightly, it's not the funnest thing people want to do. I would imagine, waiting really long time at the DMV would be something people would prefer a lot more, and people hate that. So, but with you being there and helping in that regard, and you taking the energy, right? This is something I want to make clear in a way that makes sense. So give me just a second. Let me focus. Thank you very much, LR. I try to explain this because when I was developing, I didn't necessarily have anyone I could talk to. So I want to give you guys that if I can. And these are my thoughts and opinions. If it doesn't resonate with you, please look elsewhere, find what you need and what can help. And please look to other teachers and other helpers in that regard, because no love lost here. If you guys need spiritual growth and it's not from me, I wish you all the best. You know what I mean? And you can come, it's not about, anyway. So empaths in general are like sponges. Okay, and I make this analogy a lot. Empaths are like sponges. And why I say they're like sponges is because a sponge will absorb either clean water or dirty water. It doesn't care. It's a sponge. You drop it in dirty water, it's going to absorb the dirty water. You drop it in clean water, it's going to absorb the clean water. So we need to learn how to establish boundaries. We need to learn how to make these little barriers where it's great that we're helping people. If we're there and we're helping them, that's great. But if we're overextending our energy to meet that, that makes it so that we feel drained after. And the empath tends to overextend, then they feel drained, then they get burned out. And then that leads to, emotional anxiety. That leads to a lot of those kinds of feelings. So it's good to be there and it's good to help people. Absolutely, but if we overextend ourselves, it makes it so that eventually we can't help people because we feel frazzled, right? So does that kind of help in that way? Mm, okay. Okay. You're very welcome, Tiffany. And that goes for everybody, and that goes for me too. Okay. I may be sitting here giving this advice and talking. Um, I mean, I'm not going to strap a camera to my head like a GoPro and you guys can look at my life through that, but trust me, I go through these kinds of same things, and working with establishing boundaries, working with doing that kind of stuff, it's hard and it takes time and we will mess up. But that's where the gentleness comes in, because knowing that we're going to mess up, and then we do inevitably, we can take that and we can learn from it and we can grow from it, because then we don't feel stifled. And that's huge. Never get too attached to who you are in the moment right now, because I can guarantee you're going to change. And the more attachment we have to who we are now, the less likely we're going to change, because we already feel like we're good, we're perfect, yeah, we don't need to change. And comfort is the killer of, to me, comfort is the killer of success. The more comfortable we get, the less likely we are to change, and the less likely we are to change our ways, right? Hopefully that makes sense. We always want to be, and I know this sounds awful, we always want to be just a little bit uncomfortable in life, just a little bit, um, because it inspires us to keep moving and to keep growing. Yes, it is good to be in a bubble sometimes. That's where the alone time comes into play. When we're taking that time out of our day to protect ourselves, yes, there's no growth without change. Absolutely. And speaking of change, if you guys have any change you could spare, any donations on the channel would help a ton. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to do it, you guys. But yeah, it's one of those things that, again, take your time. Take your time, get to learn. And if anything is rushing you in life, really take the time to, as morbid as it sounds, take the time to think about death. And I know that sounds very morbid, but when I say think about it, I mean in a way that's like, we will all go. We'll all go. We won't be who we are forever. And to me, having that being something helps me to motivate myself and realize that all of this is kind of a big game. It's kind of like a big party, and sometimes people leave, and they don't necessarily ever come back. But if we look at it as a party, regardless, I think that that's the way to go about it, because it's a game. The universe is experiencing itself, or as Alan Watts said, and maybe he took it from someone else, the universe is playing hide and seek with itself. That's the whole game. The universe is seeing where it can find itself, how it can experience itself, and we are the fingers or the eyes of the universe. We are observing consciousness. And you can look at quantum physics to see that that's exactly the case, because quantum physics gets really weird when you observe stuff. It gets really strange. Very, very bizarre. And I can talk about that forever. I can go into the quantum internet. I can go into all that stuff. But I don't know if you guys want to hear that again. I kind of go off on that stuff. Yes, it is. A clean, uncluttered home is absolutely helpful to relax. I was cleaning all day yesterday, so I know what you mean. It's nice to be clean. It takes practice, LR. It does. It takes practice to read, and some of it comes from intuition. Some of it's just advice. If I can be, yeah, and there's that too. A lot of it's advice. A lot of it is the cards themselves, the lessons, the archetypes that come in from the cards. Yes, anyways, advice. Well, that's how it is. I mean, if we're cleaning, if we're going, we're kind of establishing a new energy when we do that. Being respectful of the space, that's how I view it. And it's interesting stuff, honestly. I feel like, though, especially when I lose track of what I was saying. Oh, I hate that. Just give me a minute. Yes, sage is good. Sage is good to clear space. Absolutely. Stones are good. My Moldavite stone that I have, I really like. I think that's really cool. Not as like a protection, but just as like an amplifier of energy. And there's, you can do this in so many ways. I was learning about precipitation mediumship the other day. Very fascinating stuff. I don't know if you guys are into learning about the mediumship part, but the precipitation stuff is interesting. Let me know if you guys would want to hear that, and we can go in that direction. If not, we can go into a different direction. Because this isn't like the band One Direction. There's a lot of things. Yes, plants are good. But yeah, there's new. Okay. I mean, we could do like $10 maybe to go more in depth, and we can do that after. So the precipitation mediumship is very fascinating, and what we. Okay, I can give you an example here. So, I mean, I'm not doing this myself because I feel it's not for me at this point in time, but I'm always looking at new spiritual practices, and then I think, okay, that's interesting, and then I can share them with you. So, precipitation mediumship is this. Let me grab this here. I have a box. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. I have this box right here. Okay, this is for the Wild Unknown Tarot. I know, the tarot guy grabs a tarot box. It's a big surprise. So we grab this here. We're looking at this. Now what we do is we go into this. I've got a pen. You take a bunch of pens and some paper, sticky notes, white paper, not lined generally. You take regular white cardstock paper, put it in the box, okay? And then there's nothing in here. Like I was saying, this is empty. But you put it in the box, you put the pen in the box, you tie them up, you can do whatever you want to do, and you make sure you don't touch anything. Then, once all the pens have been put in a box, you take the energy of well, let me put it this way. You'll do a meditation, and you'll ask your guides to come forth. And this is once we've established a connection with our guides. If you just go in and you're doing this willy-nilly, it might work. I don't think it will. When we establish a connection with our guides, when we sit in the power, then that's what we're doing. And thank you, Petra, for that. But that's what we're doing, is we're focusing on building the power. When we've established a connection, we've built power, and there's more trust from the guide to the medium, then we can focus on having things happen. So this one, you take a bunch of colored pencils, pens, whatever it happens to be, and you have a control experiment, right? You have pens that you're using every day, and you can compare them to these other pens. But what will happen is you put them in this dark box, you meditate, and you allow spirit to work inside of this box. You'll actually notice that the pens and the pencils and stuff will actually have been used, and the box is completely closed and nothing is touching it. And sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes you can actually get signatures from spirit, like full names or pictures. Most of the times it's squiggles and dots, especially when you're first developing, but eventually it can turn into something that's, full-blown pictures. It's art. And that to me is fascinating. And it's precipitation mediumship because they take the ink, they take whatever essence they can from the materials in there that you've given them. They'll actually take ink from the middle of the pen. They'll make bubbles inside of the ink tubes. because they're using the pen not in the way we would use it, but they're actually taking the essence, the ink from the pen, and they're putting it on the paper, right? Crazy fascinating stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. There's people that do that. It's not as popular as it once was. Precipitation mediumship has kind of fallen since then. Does that, but it's also a very interesting art. And there's other forms of mediumship too that are not similar but not dissimilar either. That's more of a physical mediumship. So mediumship. The physical mediumship is objective. Mental mediumship is subjective. Does that make sense? So mental mediumship is going into a room and getting messages, but only you're getting the messages. So if only you're getting the messages, right, that makes it so that other people can't experience it the same way. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much. And if other people can't experience what you're experiencing, then that makes it so that it is subjective. I'm getting a message, first from Spirit to you. The only link I have to verify is if I bring through evidence from myself. I'm not going to be able to send it to your mind. Not that I'm aware of anyway, so I'm the one receiving the message. With physical mediumship, and this takes usually years to develop, with physical mediumship, it is objective. People in the room will hear knocks. They will hear things happen. They will hear a bunch of different things happen, and other people can verify that with each other. They can say, oh yeah, I heard that knock, or oh yeah, this happened, because that's physical mediumship. But that takes time for the medium to develop, and generally it involves a much more developed medium. Gordon Higginson was a physical medium. Other people are physical mediums as well, but it's rare in this day and age because physical mediums use ectoplasm as their form of manifesting spirit. And you look into it, and man, it gets interesting. It's incredibly bizarre, but also kind of eerily cool. I mean, you guys will have to look into it, but oh man, it gets crazy. Yes, it's interesting. It's very interesting, and it's not unlike that can happen. That can be a sign of spiritual activity too. Generally, yeah, that can be a sign. It's like getting the juices pumping, I guess would be the best way to describe that. People probably don't want to hear about juices pumping, but there you go. But the thing that I think is fascinating with physical mediumship is the evidence that comes through from a physical medium, and also the things that can happen to a physical medium. So Gordon Higginson, he's doing a mediumship reading, right? And when ectoplasm comes out of a medium, it comes out of any orifice it can find its way out of, except for the one that you wouldn't want to. I don't think it comes out of your butt, is what I'm trying to say, but it comes out of every other hole. Okay, I need to work on how to deliver this information. Yeah, so, but when the ectoplasm starts to form, right, it starts to sort of, it looks like smoke at first, and then it solidifies more into a form, generally. But when Gordon Higginson would do it, any medium is capable of producing ectoplasm, but physical mediums can produce a large amount of ectoplasm. Okay, and from what I understand, it generally comes from, I think, the pancreas, if I'm not mistaken. There's more research that needs to be done. Obviously, this is interesting, but anyway. So the ectoplasm comes out of wherever it comes out of, and then it will come back into the medium, and it'll go that way. But conditions have to be met for this to happen. For instance, I could not do this, and neither could anyone else. The ectoplasm is light sensitive. So generally, you'll use a red light bulb, like a very dim kind of red light, to show the ectoplasm. You have to do that because it is photosensitive. This has led to, over the years though, it's led to con artists and stuff doing physical mediumship, but really they're just faking people out. But there were real people that were working on this too, obviously. Okay, so the ectoplasm is there to show a more solidified form of spirit. For instance, imagine if someone died, you go to a physical medium, the physical medium could have the ectoplasm form into the shape of your loved one. And if they were, and I think if there was another medium there too, they could put a voice box on the spirit, and you could literally have something that was walking around the room and talking to you as if it was your loved one. It would use their voice, it would walk like they would, and it provides an incredible form of evidence. It's remarkable. Hmm. No, I don't. I don't do remote. I've tried it in the past. I might need to get back on that, but I don't do remote viewing as much. But yeah, so it's really fascinating. But so what happened was the reason you have to be careful. It's light sensitive, like I was saying. So Gordon Higginson is doing this seance, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but he's doing something. And I saw something go over here that was interesting. But he was doing something, and the ectoplasm's out. It's fully, getting ready to form and doing all that. And there was a reporter in the audience who decided to take a picture, right? And so when the person takes a picture, immediately what happens is that the ectoplasm that Gordon has outside of his mouth, it comes right back in and it burns him all the way down because the ectoplasm is very sensitive and the flash bulb on the camera burned his insides like when it was going down. And so obviously that's very dangerous. And I just find it very fascinating that something like that can exist. And not only that, it's really fragile. I mean, to me, that there's nothing more spiritual than that. But then there's other things that have happened too. I mean, physical mediumship in itself is very interesting, and it was much more popular and much more widely expressed back in the 1800s to the 1900s. Nowadays, you don't hear of a lot of physical mediums. They're around, but you don't hear about them as much. And the practice to become one is a lot more intense than mental mediumship or trance mediumship. And that's something, trance mediumship is a step above like mental, but not everyone is going to do trance mediumship. Not everyone is going to do that. But it's interesting stuff to look into. And not only that, I learned this recently. The physical mediums, when they would be doing their, like the ectoplasm and things would happen in a room, they would have to change out the rooms frequently. They would have to change the curtains and the furnishings because the medium would actually take the energy from those objects to manifest. So the people that are sitting in the audience are giving energy to the physical medium because the physical medium can't do this themselves. So they're giving the energy to the physical medium, and then they're also taking the energy from the floor and from the ceiling and from the rugs and the furnishings, whatever they can. So things would actually start falling apart because the energy was being taken. Ectoplasm. And I hate that it's like something they make fun of in Ghostbusters because it actually is a legit thing, but they turned it into a movie thing to try and make it. I don't know, they could have called it anything, but of course they had to go with ectoplasm. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting stuff. And you can go into. There's a lot of different facets of mediumship, a lot of different ways that it can express. Oh, you're good. You're good, LR. Don't worry. But that's something that I feel is something that's been lost in this kind of day and age, where we're getting it back, but they're also saying that the ectoplasm that mediums were once using is starting to become less dense. So I think in the future we're going to see some miraculous things in the physical mediumship space, even more so than lately. And there was some crazy stuff that happened at those physical mediumship seances. Apports, which is spirit teleporting an object from one room to another, or just something you've never seen before. And there's some stories with that. There's a lot of different stories with this, and it's all very it's just all very interesting. I mean, I don't think you even have to be necessarily spiritually minded to think that stuff's kind of fascinating. I mean, for me, I'm all about that. I'm either the tech guy, the mediumship guy. Some books on physical mediumship? No, I can't. because I'm not a physical medium that I'm aware of. So I haven't looked into it in the book format. But Martin Twycross, well, he's also not a physical medium, but he talks about physical mediumship. I know a couple of people that say they're physical mediums, and I feel like they seem legit, but books. I might have to look into that a little more. And documentaries, there was one I watched, but they were more so trying to disprove the person. Um, I'll look into it more and see if I can find anything out on it. But it's sort of something where there's a lot of stories. Maybe spiritualism in the 1800s, something on a book about that would yield some results. The one who wasn't taught, a physical medium. I'm not sure what you're saying, LR. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, that. No, I don't think she was a physical medium. I remember Dead Files is what you're talking about. No, I think she was more of a mental medium. How do they relate to magicians like Houdini? Well, for one, Houdini was trying to say that they weren't real. Houdini was trying to go after the physical mediums back in the day to say that what they were doing was actually scamming people. Yes, I'm still practicing as a medium, but I can definitely do that. If that's something you want to do, I do mediumship sessions on my website. But I'm usually able to at least get some information. Like I said, I'm going to be teaching a class on it on Saturday. Oh, okay. That's really cool. Yeah, because and I don't think there was any fault on Houdini, right? Yes, yes, and he was trying to get answers in his own way. I don't think he was evil for trying to discredit the mediums because back then there were a lot of scammers, and Houdini just thought that these people were trying to manipulate other people. Yes, he was an illusionist, but um, that's something where it's like I feel like he was on the side of good, but he was trying to protect people from something, and in my honest opinion, I don't think he fully understood what was happening because he was an illusionist. So of course, he would look at these other people like they were illusionists too, you know. Um, but that's just my take on it because I think Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was friends with Houdini, if I'm not mistaken, and he was into the spiritualist movement, which was dealing with the physical mediums of the time. And he made it so that he tried, I think, to convince Houdini in his own way that it was real what was going on. But it seemed like Houdini never got like the answers I guess he wanted from meeting with these people. And sometimes that's just how it is in life. It's like I felt like he was just kind of barely missing the evidence that could have been there. But I feel like he was also trying to expose the people that were trying to take advantage of others and you know try and hoax people because there were people that would do that, and that's very unfortunate that someone would stoop that low. But yeah. And to answer your question, Tiffany, I don't think you're going crazy, but yeah, there are spirits around, and sometimes they like to make themselves known. Prestige. That one sounds familiar, but I can't remember if I've seen it. If I haven't, I probably need to. That sounds awesome. But yeah, are there any other questions? I kind of went on a rant there about physical mediums for a good while, so hopefully you enjoyed that though. Yes, it is. It's very interesting stuff. Just an evolution of the spiritual nature of people. And it's interesting to me that it comes back. That one is, I don't know on that one, Kathy. I'm not sure. And I'm not going to make an assumption or a guess. I know I could maybe tune into that, but I don't know if that's something that was going on or not. That was tragic though, what happened with Robin Williams, but I'm not really sure. And again, not gonna say either way because I honestly don't know. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that. Hopefully, I'll be just as good with. I think there will be like 8 people. It's not a huge class, but right now, you want me to ask him? Seeing as I'm going to be doing mediumship here in about 35 minutes, I don't know if I'm going to ask, just because that seems like a lot, and also where it is a celebrity case, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily feel comfortable with Robin Williams. If it's like you guys want to work with me, and you want to find out things about a loved one that has passed on, sure. And if that loved one happens to be Robin Williams, I guess he'll come through. But if not, I'm not just gonna. I feel like he's probably dealing with his own stuff. Yes, we can. We can all become mediums, but, and here's the big but, um, is it something that you would want to do? Are there reasons behind it that are pure? Like, just like we can all sit in front of the piano and we could all become concert pianists, right? We could all do that. Will we? I mean, some of us will just learn how to play the piano a few times. Some of us will just learn, um, how to do a few notes on the piano and be happy with that. If we're dedicated, yes, we can develop as mediums. I do believe that. Um, but again, that comes down to the question of why are we doing it? Why do we want to develop mediumship? And my class, I will talk about that. Yes. Yeah, rest in peace, Robin Williams. But the class on Saturday, I'll be posting, I'll talk about that in the class too. So that will be something you guys can look forward to, and hopefully it answers questions, and we can go from there. And eventually, move more into that space. If people are developing as mediums, obviously I want to talk to you guys because it's not a very fleshed out field, I guess. I feel like mediums sort of just stay in their own cloistered little groups. And so Michelle, if we're born with abilities, we have the option to choose to express them or not. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. If we want to express them, we do. And if we don't, we don't. It's as simple as that. If there's abilities there and we want to express them genuinely, and we want to learn about them in a genuine way and do that. Born with abilities? Yes, I think everyone's born with abilities. I do. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. It's one of those things. I think all of us have abilities. And growing up, I didn't think I had anything special going on, but then I found out later. I think they can be latent or dormant in people. And then sometimes kids are just, they're just able to do it because they don't have the things that are blocking them. So that sounds like what would you call that? That's not transfiguration, but it's like bringing in the shadows of. I'm trying to remember what that's called, but that's something that can happen with mediums, and depending on if they're being influenced too by the spirit world, you could see shadows. Good night, Kathy. Are you going to sleep? But yeah, you could see shadows around the medium. You could see orbs, shadows, any other thing. It depends on how active the medium is, and I honestly think it depends on the viewers as well. Like if people are more open-minded, it's going to be a lot easier for things to come through visually. But that's something, and I've witnessed that when I've done sittings in my mediumship classes that I've taken with people. Sometimes they get and I don't think you're saying this, but if you are, then we can talk about that. But it's like an overshadowing of a face comes over their face and they start looking different. Yeah, and to me, the shadows just present themselves however they present themselves. Yeah, Tiffany, I can do that. Ooh, okay. First thing I'm getting is I'm feeling dizzy. That was different. I felt for a second like I was going to fall out of my chair, and this is a hard chair to fall out of. So, let's see what I can. Okay. I'll see what I can get to just for a second. Let's see, was that Tiffany? Yeah. I'll see what I can do just for a second, Tiffany. I saw you donated earlier, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, clairaudience is like a mental mediumship faculty. It's so you're hearing it, but you're hearing it. Does that make sense? You're the one hearing it, not the person. So it's more of a mental faculty. And clairaudience is the one a lot of people think clairvoyance is the one that they want to work with the most. But clairaudience, actually being able to hear messages, is really cool too. And I think that's a very profound gift. And there's ways we can develop those. I actually need to put that in the class, how we can develop the clairs, because there are ways we can work with and develop those so that we get more of them. Yeah, I have PayPal. Just chancemanson1@gmail.com is my PayPal. Or I think, yeah, you can do it that way. I have a donation link on my About section of my YouTube as well. Okay. So I'm going to draw those cards for you, Tiffany, and we'll focus on that. Let me see what I can get here. Okay, so I'm either feeling a possible. So, Tiffany, are you there? Just say yes, and then I can move forward with this. Just so I'm not talking to the wind. I assume you're still there because you asked the question, but. Yeah, clairaudience will come and go usually. And the reason why we want to develop all clairs is because spirits will come through in very different ways. And so if all of our clairs are developed, our little mediumship toolbox we can reach into and we can grab whatever tool we need for the spirit. Well, there you go. That's hopefully you didn't hear that too. That could put you in a groundhog, like a weird situation. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate that so much. Very kind of you. So for Tiffany, right, if you're still there, I get the Emperor in reverse. I get the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And then I get the Son of Swords. So I feel like this person that passed on could have been an Aries individual, maybe more stubborn and set in their ways. I feel like possibly male more than anything. And then I get the Son of Swords, which could also point to a younger air sign too. So that would be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. But that's what I'm getting here. If I do a teeny bit of a connection, I might be able to get a little more information. Are you still there, Tiffany? Because if not, that's okay too. because this is coming out tomorrow and you can watch it again. But okay. All right, well, that's what I'm getting here. So if either of those things correspond, we can move forward with that. If you want to do a mediumship reading, we can move forward with that too, in the future. But seeing as I don't feel like you're here anymore, or if you are, I'm not seeing your message. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'm not thinking she is either. And that's okay. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, that's just what I'm getting here. So, it does feel like if she watches this tomorrow, I'll just finish this out and then I will say toodaloo to everyone. Oh, yes, Michelle, go for it. While you're asking your question, I'm just going to say this part out. I feel like the person was more closed off in life. Like I said, more of a stubborn kind of energy. I do feel like it could either be, like I said, Aries, okay, or we're looking at a younger air sign, so Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or they presented themselves as a younger air sign. So there could be a maturity where they presented themselves as that way. So more aloof and more aloof, more evasive with things, if that makes sense. Okay, so Michelle, answer your question. Your great-great-grandmother. I can look and see. Okay, I can look and see here, so give me just a second. Oh. I'll draw some cards, but ultimately I think I'll connect a little bit mediumistically and see if I can get anything. Again, a little bit of a connection, not full blown, just because I do have another session coming up at 7, so in about 20 minutes or so. Okay. So I get this card here, which is the 7 of Wands, okay? So I feel like she's around you. I feel like she's around you and she gives you power. She gives you a sense of release or a sense of relief when things are difficult. Do you feel that way, LR? Do you feel like she's around you when things are more difficult? Do you feel a sense of her presence when things start getting more... Okay. Then I get the 7 of Pentacles. So I feel like there's a legacy here. If that's something I'm focusing on, I do feel like there's a legacy, and I feel like I keep saying it. Did you hear what I said, Tiffany? Hopefully earlier. But I get this right here, which is a feeling of a legacy or leaving a legacy. I don't know why I keep saying legacy. I feel like that's kind of an important thing, though. Okay, good. And then I get the 6 of Swords in reverse. So this to me is I feel like we're searching for something that's already there. So if you're trying to feel support from the spirit world, LR, know that it's already there. We just need to tune into it. And the way we do that is we try to calm our mind and we try to let ourselves be the stillness in the pond, so to speak. Okay. So then that's good. That to me, I feel like she is definitely around. And I don't necessarily feel like she's ever not with you. I mean, at key moments and stuff, she's definitely with you. But I feel like even throughout the day in the mundane way, that she's around you in some form or fashion. And just calling for her and asking for her, you can have her be there in whatever way she can be, if that makes sense. I'm going to draw an energy card here. Good. I'm going to see that. Okay. Do you feel, LR, do you feel like your face tingles when she's around? I'm feeling like a tingling in my temples right here. And I'm kind of feeling like my eyes are tingly a teeny bit. I don't know if that relates to you, though. Okay. Okay. Definite, definite tingle energy. Yes, you're here. Okay, Tiffany. So, okay. And you heard what I said earlier about the presence that was around you. I just want to make sure it was answered. Praise could be the woman that passed in home. Oh, okay. 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 Perfect. You did hear it, Tiffany. Thank you for letting me know. I just wanted to make sure you were taken care of. You were kind enough to donate, and so I wanted to make sure you got your message. Okay. Let me draw an energy card here. So I feel like what I'm getting here is that this person, I get the door to romance, but it's in reverse. And then I get the fifth chakra archangel, Gabriel, upright like this. So I feel like what she's doing in your life right now, and this isn't in a romantic or necessarily fun way, the way she's presenting herself here, and it's kind of funny, but it's, it's serious at the same time. The way she's presenting herself is she's saying you need to value yourself, right? You need to value yourself, you need to speak up, and you need to do what's right for you. It's not in a romantic sense, it's not in a very, like, it feels loving, but it also doesn't at the same time. Like, it's more stern, it's more tough love. Does that make sense? It's more tough love. Her saying, you've got this. But I do feel like there's a sense of tough love with it. Does that make sense, Michelle? Okay. Okay. I think I saw some of them. I think I saw some of them, Tiffany. I can go a little more into that, but hold on one second here. So, Michelle, did you have any other questions? And some of this might have to be answered in the... No, I don't feel like she's invasive. I don't necessarily... I mean, if you want her there, I feel like she would be, but I don't feel like it's something that would happen unless you... Sometimes you feel someone. Okay. Okay. That could just be spirit working in a way. If it makes you feel uncomfortable ever, please ask them to step away. Know that you can set your boundaries that way. If it is her and you feel a sense of comfort, that's okay too. I mean, it depends on how you see it. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Okay. And yeah, you will sometimes. That's how spirit, yep, that's how spirit will communicate sometimes. The tingle on the face or on the back. And I just need to get this out here because I do have a session coming up here in about 17 minutes or so. LR, if it's okay, I'm going to address Tiffany just for a second here. And then next time I'm on, which is every day except Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, you guys can talk to me a little bit more there. I don't want you to think I'm giving you the cold shoulder here. I'm not. Okay. I just want everyone to get. If someone donates, I want them to get their their answers because I appreciate that. And Michelle, I know you donated too, so we can pick this up the next time I'm on. Okay. Which is tomorrow, so you won't have to wait very long. Thank you so much. Okay, so Tiffany, let me see what I can get here. DR, either initials or a name that starts with DR. I'm not sure. I feel like DR is something that just came up. Thank you so much, LR. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ah, okay. The mentality of a 15-year-old. Yep, that'll happen with men. We we get stuck. We get stuck big time. And then the women try to help the men, and then the women get stuck too, because men can sometimes be just a pool of mud that just pulls you in like a sink. Anyway, I hear you on that. So it did feel like that kind of energy. Like you said, more stubborn, the mentality of a 15-year-old. Let me see if I can connect a little more with it. Specifically, though, because we don't have a ton of time, can you give me maybe a specific question, Tiffany, that I can work with, and then I can give you an answer to that? That'll happen. I've heard the footsteps before. They're running around. That will happen every now and again. But yeah, if we're working with a specific, I can get a little more. Generally, it sometimes feels to me like that side of my head was feeling funny there for a minute, like the back part, like right here. Almost felt like someone took their fingers and was like feeling the back of my head. And then I got dizzy for a second, so that was interesting. Anyway, so hopefully if you are okay. But in any case, if we're dealing with this kind of energy that's around us, we can ask it to leave or to give us space. Some people, they don't mind if a spirit occupies their same space as long as they feel safe, and that's good too. You can cohabitate. But if you're ever feeling, like you need the space back or you need something, I feel like that's something that you should definitely be able to do or ask for, no matter what. I know spirit can be a little invasive that way. Hold on. Oh, best light. Oh, thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you. And now, Tiffany, with that being said, okay, what we're doing here. I appreciate you donating. Anyone that donates, if the live stream, if I have to go on the live stream, no, you're good. You're so awesome. Thank you so much for the donation. But if I have to go, please email me chancemadsen1@gmail.com. Okay. If you have a question there, we can address it there, or you can wait until the next live, which is tomorrow, and ask your question there. If I didn't have to go, I would stay, but I just have that other session coming up. And I appreciate all the donations. I appreciate you guys just being awesome. But I will address your question. You can either email me or you can wait until tomorrow and we can address it that way. Either way works with me. I just want you to know I'm there. You donated. I appreciate it, and I want to show you that you're a priority. So please feel free to reach out that way. And the same with Michelle, if she's LR, if she's still here. It's out of the bag now. Michelle, she's still here the same way. Reach out, email, whatever you guys need to do. I just appreciate that. So with that being said, you guys, if it's okay, I'm thinking I'm going to vamoose here. But I will come back tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel, okay? Same channel, ESPN as always. And yeah, so love you guys. You guys take care. Be safe. And I will talk to you tomorrow, okay? Yeah, and sleep good, everybody. Okay. Bye, my friends.